Yeah, we ought to do this before these die.
Oh, yeah. That's
They've only ever been charged out of the box.
all right. Well, then let's not waste any time.
Hi, this is Dakota. I'm Zack. I'm done. You start it over.
How's it going? My name is Dakota Godwin. This is Zack McCormick. And from what I understand, you're going to tell me your testimony again, even though we recorded this once.
Twice. 3 times?
This will be the second.
Okay. So, there's nowhere to start but the beginning. So, my life kind of starts off with quite a bit of rejection. I'm not sure what the whole story is. I know I was thrown away as a baby, and I don't mean like gotten rid of or put up for adoption. I mean in the trash can. And when the trash man found me, that is what caused CPS to get involved in my parents' life, and eventually they lost custody of all 4 of us, and that pushed me on to, eventually end up in Texas at like the age of 3, and got beat for a long time as a child. And I don't mean like, oh, boo-hoo, kind of like just telling people I got beat. I mean, I actually beat and abused me and my sister both. There was one thing I always had, which was church. I used to ditch church and go out back and worship and feel God's presence out there more than I ever did in the building. And one day when I was 7, preacher come down to the pews, and he said, "You're going to be a great preacher one day, man." And I was like, "Oh, no. And I go home and I tell God, I'm 7. I can't do that. That's not happening. I can't do it. There's no way." And from that moment on, from 7 years old to 23, I'm on probation and in jail and over and over and over and over, and sleeping with all the women, doing all the drugs, breaking into places, hurting people, being extremely violent and crazy. Had a reputation for it. And at the age of 23, I'm sitting in jail, in a county jail with 32 felonies hanging over my head. And
it all started from you running from what God wanted you to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And here I am anyway.
Yeah.
But at that moment, I'm sitting in that jail cell, and I'm thinking, this is it. My life's over. And I'm thinking, it's a little too late, but I'm going to give God what I have left. And I was like, God, if you'll have me, I'll serve you. I'll preach in prison. I don't care what I got to do. Whatever. Maybe I can still do what you said was going to happen from prison. And I go to the rec yard shortly after, and I look up into the sky, and I'm like, God, I'm going to start trusting you again. And these 2 guys come up, and they beat the piss out of me. And for the first time in my life, I didn't fight back. God actually protected me too. And I went to forgive them. They smacked my hand away. Now, here's the thing. If you reject forgiveness, right, you won't be forgiven. So it means God, you know what I mean? I forgave them. They didn't accept the forgiveness. They reject me, they reject God, right? That's a biblical principle. Not that I'm anybody.
Right.
But
if God says, I've got you, and you're my business, and somebody has anything against that, then that's on them.
Yeah. And he took them out. They were gone. Immediately put in a whole nother jail. An actual miracle happened shortly after. I got taken to the hospital, right? And I don't know why I didn't mention this last time. This is why we had to start over.
Maybe.
So there should still be records of the x-ray. But they're x-raying me because my nose is flat against my face, broken. There's zero question that it's broken.
Yeah.
now I'm in there, I'm getting x-rayed, and I'm like, God, please, just make it stop hurting. I know you can fix it, but just make it stop hurting. That's all I'm asking. And the first x-ray comes in, and just here is blurry. Only here. And this is the Tyler County Hospital in Woodville, Texas. You can literally go get records. I don't care. Go try. Anyways, they do a second x-ray. My nose is out of my face and not broken anymore. True story.
Wow.
Blew my mind.
Praise the Lord.
The first ever actual like miracle that I've ever seen.
And it was right after you told God you were going to trust him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm on drugs and all the things, and I have a child on the way, and I'm like, God, I don't want this to be who, you know, she gets, right, as a dad. And I was like, please don't let me go to prison. Send me to a rehab or something, right? Like, let me get some help at least. Yeah. And I ended up going to a rehab in Deer Park. And at that rehab, like, I started getting a real distaste for, like, performative things and religious Christianity, right? Because everything was works, performance. And I was like, where is the actual wanting to help anybody?
Yep.
This isn't going to help anybody at all. I'm not going to sit here and, like with AA, oh, I'm an alcoholic, I'm this, I'm that. Well, out of your mouth, right? You know? Yep. I'm not going to identify as something that God is setting me free from.
Right.
I'm not going to do that.
He says to call things that are not as though they are, not call yourself, you know.
If you call yourself something, that's what you're going to be.
Yep.
I'm not going to call myself an addict. I'm not going to call myself any of that.
Right. The tongue is the rudder of the ship.
Literally.
Wherever it goes, so too shall the body.
Exactly. But long story short on that, 4 months into a 2-year program, I just leave because my daughter was born. I get to meet her, and I'm like, yeah, I've got to figure it out. I have to. And I start trying to go about it in my own strength to get straight and get clean and everything. And I go turn myself into jail because I was court mandated to that rehab. Leaving is automatic failure, which means revoking probation.
Right.
And I'm like, God, that didn't work. I need to go, because like the whole time I was out, I'm getting high and drunk and everything because I'm like, well, that's it for me, you know. I'm thinking the worst possible because I hadn't dealt with my mental health, let alone my drug addiction, let alone my mental health, you know.
Right.
And well, I'm like, God, I got to go to a Christian rehab, something that will understand what I'm trying to like do, right? And I have these people on TV that I'm looking at, and they're talking about this deliverance ministry. It's this man and this woman. And I'm like, God, I really want to do something like that desperately. And I just hear him say, you will. Right. And he makes it real clear over the next, I want to say day or 2, 3 days, something like that, exactly how it's going to go down. Like I even saw a vision of it. And I told you about that the first time we talked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember.
Yeah.
Because we talked about deliverance the first time we talked, and I had no idea.
Yeah, this is a whole thing. This is over a decade ago. And he gives me all the details. I end up forgetting about them for a long time because my focus was like not being whatever I had been for the rest of my life, right?
Right.
Anyways, so the second go around, they end up not sending me to a rehab, but they send me to an actual deliverance ministry at a church.
Right.
It's a whole church. I'm the first person ever to be court mandated to go there ever in all of ever. Right. The Victory Gospel Chapel in San Antonio. And through some strange means, I end up under Bishop Donnie Banks's like guidance, right? Under his wing or whatever. And he basically gives me a job, and I end up working there, and then I end up in the ministry there, right? And in that ministry is the first time I ever heard God speak, because he will audibly speak. It's just, in my experience, it's rare.
Yeah.
Like the rarest thing ever. It's only happened to me twice, and they were both in the same like 10 minutes. And Yeah, anyways, he told me to leave that, and I was like, no, no, right? And this was the first example I really got, I think, that I've noticed where doing the religious thing would have cost somebody their spiritual life. Because I ended up coming back to East Texas, and my buddy Andy, I move in with him, and he has this girlfriend, right? And she's disabled. She's on dialysis, and she's only in her 20s. And I think she's Wiccan, and he was satanic or atheist or something. I think it was satanic at the time. Anyways, they both start coming closer to Jesus eventually, right? And she comes all the way into Jesus, and she starts thanking me for it. And I'm like, for what? Right? All I've done is talk to you about it when you asked. I'm not trying to convince you of anything. I'm not trying to sway you. And she's like, yeah, but it's so genuine when you talk about it. And I was like, it's because he's shown me some weird stuff, He's been there. It's not just like rules. It's an actual relationship with God.
And he's had to be your only chance in life.
Exactly. Like, when everybody else leaves and all you have is God, you learn that he's a person instead of just some entity eyeballing you, waiting to like hit you with a check mark or an X to punish you.
Control Alt Smite.
Yeah. Oh man. And goes R destroy. Sorry, guys. Never mind. Command prompt delete. Sorry.
In task.
Got my brain just.
So you end up moving in with your friend, and this woman gets saved.
Yeah, and by accident.
Mm-hmm.
And a few years later, she ends up dying from her diabetes and stuff. And I think back on that, and I'm like, if I had stayed in the ministry when God told me to leave, she probably would have died without knowing Jesus.
And that's exactly, I mean, it says she leaves the 99 to go after the one.
Yeah.
I mean, you walk that out.
I mean, it hurts my soul to think that I almost missed trying to help her.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. But that was years back, and I ended up getting into. I was so church hurt because of the way that I left and having to leave. That I ended up getting into like New Age stuff and Gnosticism and the Emerald Tablets and all this other weird stuff, and I was astral projecting, and it's basically just witchcraft,
Yeah, it is. It's just witchcraft in disguise.
Yeah, with a mask on.
Yeah,
Jesus mask.
Yep.
Anyways, and God took care of me, man, during that, and he still was with me and still guided me, and I didn't realize it. I end up getting lonely, and I look up my ex, and I see she's working at a restaurant, right? And I look up that restaurant, and I'm like, okay, where is this? And it turns out it's in Lubbock. And that wasn't even where she was living at the time I found out. It was just the one that somehow Google decided was closer to me, even though it wasn't the closest one. Google showed me the one 600 something miles away, instead of the one where she actually lived. Anyways, I was like, I'll never go to Lubbock, and I just heard it in my ear. Yes, you will. A couple of weeks later, I go and turn myself in because I'm on the run at the time from probation because I'd been smoking weed and relapsed, and none of that matters. But I turned myself in, and they end up sending me to a place called CRTC. It's a mental health and substance abuse, right? So I already had my spiritual down. Handling the substance abuse issues and handling the mental health, it all rolls together. Because if you have your spiritual, your mental, and your physical all handled, then you can walk. If you got one of those going, you're limping. It's not going to work.
Right.
And I end up getting sent there, and God's like, I want you to stay here in Lubbock. And I'm like, no, I want to go home to my daughter, And he's like, trust her, forget about her, leave her with me. I didn't want to. And I ended up getting forced to not have anything to do with my daughter because of her mom. She had a new boyfriend, and she was like, she's not your daughter, and blah blah blah. She's got a new dad, and I was like, that's not how this works. I was like, that's not right. Anyway, she ends up not speaking to me for a couple of years, so I didn't have a choice. I had to let her go and let God have it. And long story short, I spent a few years out there. Eventually, I meet my soon-to-be ex-wife, and we have a child. She gets close to Jesus. Her brother gets close to Jesus. Funny story on him. One day I handed him a Bible and I said, go in the closet, read this. He comes out crying, God's real, oh my God. And I was just like, yeah. It didn't even faze me at that point. I was like, yeah. Yeah, it is, yeah. Yeah, I figured something was going to happen. Yeah, that's cool. I wasn't even shocked.
Mm-hmm.
You ever had anything like that?
You were just being obedient to what the Lord was telling you to do.
Yeah, he come out bawling.
Yeah.
Crying like a baby.
Yeah. God took the blinders off.
No. But she ended up leaving me a couple weeks after that one. And she was pregnant. She didn't know it yet. That was when I really started getting close to God, because I was wrecked. Because I thought she was it, period. That was my person forever. I was not treating her the best. I'm just going to be completely honest. I was so religious. I had slipped into being religious by complete accident. And then I had the audacity to tell her she was being religious. She was, but that's because it's what I was showing her.
Yeah.
You know?
The example you were providing
was not good.
Yeah.
And all the splitting, the everything, it's on me, and I know that. I'm 100% not okay with it, but I accept it, you know?
Yeah. You've come to terms with it.
Yeah. And you can't change anything until you actually accept it. And I didn't know anything about narcissism or anything. I'm not saying I'm a narcissist, but you know how that gets flung around these days.
Right.
And she's all calling me a narcissist, and I start looking it up, and that got me back into working on my mental health and stuff.
Right.
Anyways,
because even if you're not a narcissist, still trying to not be a narcissist is a good thing.
Yeah, exactly, right? Or at least finding out if you are.
Right.
You know? I didn't even know what she was calling me. I was like,
right.
What does this have to do with narcissist?
What is this buzzword you're throwing at me to try to...
Literally, the only part... I only knew who Narcissus was because I used to read the Greek stories when I was a kid.
Right.
The guy who was looking in the mirror and fell so in love with himself.
Right.
Well, that's funny. In the last days, men will be lovers of themselves. Narcissists.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
That's funny. God's got a sense of humor. Anyways, long story short, I ended up going to prison.
Yeah.
And because of her trying to take Marley away from me.
Mm.
And I get so close to God in there. He provides everything I possibly need. Nobody that I know in real life was taking care of me, writing me, nothing.
Friends, family,
nobody. But I watched every movie. I had haircuts. I ate better than most people that had money.
Movies, it all costs money.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's super expensive too. Yeah. $10 to rent a movie. And it's bad. It's really bad. It's like the worst quality you could ever see. Imagine it buffering at all times where it pixelates. It's like that. Everything in there is pirated.
Wow.
Everything. It's so obvious. But I used to pirate a lot of stuff. So that's why I know.
Yeah.
Anyways, I got to play Legend of Zelda, which is one of my childhood favorite games, on the stupid little TVC tablet. Like I got treated well. I never got beat up. I never got touched in a no-no way. You know what I mean?
Right.
All because God took care of me.
Yeah.
And people were dying all around me. Not just from the drugs in there. They were being stabbed and heat stroke. And
so let's go back to before you went in. And because you knew you were going in.
Mm-hmm.
And the Lord brought you back here, didn't he?
Yeah, that's right. I came to this church, specifically Church on the Lake. And I was talking to Pastor Mike. I was telling him the situation. And before I went, he prayed that I would have favor with man and with God. And I sure did.
Yeah.
Completely favor all the way around. People that shouldn't have liked me. I mean, they didn't like me, but they were still doing stuff for me for no reason.
Right.
And like God was putting it in their heart. The guy that slept below me was constantly giving me food and taking care of me. And he was like, I don't even like you. God's telling me to take care of you. And I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Thanks, God. Because I was starving to death. I came out super skinny, looking rough.
Yeah.
And man, he took the greatest care of me. I begged God to give me parole immediately because I had enough back time to pretty much turn around and get out within 30 days. But I felt like God wanted me there because I got parole within 8 days of being in the system.
Right.
It's just I got out a year later.
Yeah.
364 days later after I got parole.
Yeah.
I was like, are you serious?
But the Lord used it to get something out of you, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Yeah. He got me to the point where I trust him more than really anything at this point. There's nothing else at this point. I don't have an answer for anything except for God's got me.
Yeah.
I have no explanation. I got handed $700 the other day out of nowhere. Like, out of nowhere when I was stressing about how I was going to afford some things. It's been nuts lately. And it just keeps getting more and more blessed.
Yes.
And, man, I don't even know. I don't even know what to do here. It's just...
He's just provided.
Yeah. And I've told him, I'll do whatever you want, God. I submit. And I mean it for the first time in my life. And everything has just changed. The way I see things, the way things are going, the way people treat me. Some people are not happy to be anywhere near me. That used to be my bestest friends. And that's something I'm going to have to accept. But other than that, it's been amazing.
Yeah.
On this side of Jesus, I guess.
Yeah. It's like a whole new life.
Yeah, because I knew about Jesus, but now I know him.
Right.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. It's not just a set of rules anymore. It's a real God who's got your back through thick and thin and tells you exactly where you need to go to be blessed, and you're blessed.
Yeah. Blessed in the city and blessed in the field.
Blessed going in, blessed coming out.
Yeah. Man. Yeah. All right, that's the whole thing, though. Except for the fact that I came back to here to church right after I got out.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, that's my testimony. I hope y'all like it. We might be doing his next.
I don't know.
Or whatever the Lord, says.
I feel like that's going to be a long one.
Yeah?
Yeah. So, I don't know. But, whatever the Lord wants.
Yeah, for real.
So, you have anything you want to plug?
Oh, yeah, there's a Patreon. You can help us build a deliverance ministry or just help us get, some coffee.
I'm not going to use it for coffee, but we do need a tripod.
We do really bad. We're on 2 boxes and 3 books.
Yeah, it's not pretty.
Yeah.
But we did it.
Yeah, made it happen. Y'all have a good night. Day. Have a beautiful time.
Good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
There we go. That's why you're here.
Yep.
All right.